We started this journey in 2016. We started helping workers who were getting injured in auto sector supply chain. And once we got to 1,000 workers injured in the auto sector supply chain, we started this series of reports called Crushed. So Crushed 2019 was the first one where we covered 1,000 injured workers. Since then, I have to congratulate our Pillar 1 team, Raja, Masab, and their teams, who have now helped 10,000 workers injured and or sick with their ESIC healthcare and compensation. And this month earlier, we got to in fact, in excess of 100 crore rupee compensation for the workers. Now, with that knowledge of more than 6,500 workers in the auto sector supply chain, we have now this report with you, Crushed 2024. The purpose of this report series, which is annual in nature, is twofold. One is it is to show mirror to the industry, to the public, to the government of what's happening in the supply chains, specifically for auto sector supply chain, and drive change in a constructive fashion with the stakeholders. So the bad news is that we continue to find thousands of injured workers in the supply chain of automobile brands. This sixth annual edition presents evidence of more than 6,500 auto sector workers, and the trends are now well established and unarguable, and they have been accepted. The 10 brands that we talked to, Maruti, Honda, Hero, Bajaj, Tata, Mahindra, Hyundai, Eicher, TVS, and Ashok Leyland. Apart from Ashok Leyland, everybody else is engaging with us. But one thing in this report that we have added, and it's quite significant, and I hope you stay back to see that later, is we are saying that we need to really start listening to the voice of workers, because they tell us what we don't know, what we should know, and we need to know. For the first time, therefore, in this report, we have a participatory research done by injured auto sector workers themselves on the safety issues in their working environment. 8 of them led this initiatives with more than 100 of their colleagues in the Faridabad area on a platform provided by us and guided by our expert partners, Praxis. Dheeraj is here from that team today. Their findings, their words, their recommendations are insightful and powerful, and you will hear that in a bit. Good news is that there is finally some hard evidence of reduction in injuries. In Haryana, where we started in 2016, we are now seeing a gradual reduction for the last 8 quarters in the suppliers of Maruti, Honda, and Hero. We congratulate them for their actions, some actions taken with us, some without us, but that's great. There is a beginning. However, a word of caution. We are also hearing on the ground reports that some suppliers, in fact, many suppliers are being asked to report 0 accidents. That's the right thing to do. However, this may be discouraging accident reporting further. We will investigate this in the next year's Crush 2025. If this were to be true, this is not only a loss of information, but also is a grave healthcare and financial loss to these already disabled workers and their families. We now also have stronger evidence on the worst plight of women workers in these families, in these factories. Mostly employed as lowly paid helpers, they are instead being asked to operate dangerous power press machines, underpaid compared to men, with no separate toilets in most factories. We need to improve their situation if we want more women employment in Indian manufacturing. This report also details the lack of appropriate employer-employee relationships. Most do not have appointment letters or salary slips. Their working hours are underreported in wage calculations. They work more than legal 48 hours cap per week while not being paid legal overtime wages. Many of their accident reports have false information pointing responsibility at workers rather than employers. We are grateful that more than 25 stakeholders in industry and government that we are engaging with for the past few years are responding to us, although sporadically, and many actions are afoot, albeit painfully slowly. There is a long way to go. Special thanks are due for this report to Siddharth, who has analyzed and drafted this report, Dhanraj for edits, Saroja for guiding the report, Dheeraj from Praxis for participatory research, and everybody else in this Safe in India team that there are too many to name right now, and of course our advisors and supporters. Many of you are here today. Our country needs these improvements to scale up our supply chains and compete better globally. We are focused on auto sector, which, as you know, is 1/3 of Indian manufacturing GDP. The MSME sector where the supply chains are is only half as productive as global emerging market average. Indian labor productivity is 135th in the world. We in India forever cannot rely on the low road manufacturing based on low cost labor arbitrage. We need to take a high road for better working conditions for the dignity of workers, their families, driving higher value and quality production. And all this is not possible with our current short-term jugaad mindset. So please join us in this journey. Thank you once again for coming together today.